Hey, and welcome back to OntarioCyrptids. Today we are headed to Washington State, where I read earlier this week on Reddit that Whatcom County has been proclaimed a Sasquatch protection and refuge area. So wait a minute, is Whatcom County proclaiming that Sasquatch/Bigfoot are real? Well, let's take a closer look to what I discovered, and after, I'm going to share an encounter story from that county. Now, I know this week's format is a little different from my normal weekly uploads where I'm reading someone's encounter story, but bear with me, I think you're going to enjoy this one. Okay, so if you have your own encounter story that you would like to share, then forward your encounter stories to OntarioCyrptids@gmail.com. And if you're enjoying these encounter stories, then hit that like button. And most importantly, if you keep on coming back week after week and you haven't subscribed yet, then maybe it's time you hit that subscribe button. And don't forget that the notification bell is there to keep you up to date with all my weekly uploads. So hit that notification bell as well. Okay, go grab your favorite beverage or snack and sit back and relax. Okay, so the information I found about the Sasquatch Protection and Refuge area comes from an article in the Bellingham Herald written on January 29th, 2020 by David Rasbach. So I'm going to take a little bit from the article. I'm not going to read the entire thing. There was a couple of stories attached, but I will leave that down below in the description. But here we go. And this is what the article states. Okay, so again, this is a snippet of the entire article. This is just a small portion talking specifically about the protection and refuge area. So it says, Whatcom County has been proclaimed a Sasquatch protection and refuge area. It has been for nearly 3 decades now. In June of 1991, Al Magnuson presented the Whatcom County Council with 260 signatures of residents concerned with the safety of Bigfoot and anyone dressing in a Sasquatch costume at the first Bigfoot and Baker Festival. And this is according to the Bellingham Herald's archives. The council's response was resolution number 92-43. which states, whereas legend, purported recent finding, and spore suggest that Bigfoot may exist, and whereas if such a creature exists, it is inadequately protected and in danger of death or injury. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Whatcom County Council that Whatcom County is hereby declared a Sasquatch protection and refuge area, and all citizens are asked to recognize this status. But it further resolves this resolution shall be effective immediately. And this was approved the 9th day of June 1991, and the resolution was signed by Chairman Daniel M. Warner and was officially introduced June 9th, 1992. So it took almost a year, exactly a year, for this to go in and be declared official. The article goes on to say that Sacramento County, just northeast of Portland, Oregon, actually beat Whatcom County to the punch by more than 2 decades. And was a bit specific with the consequences with an ordinance passed in 1969, proclaiming any premeditated, willful, and wanton slaying of any such creature a felony punishable by a fine of not more than $10,000 and up to 5 years in prison. Wow. All right, let's get to the story. So this story takes place in the summer of August 1972. And it takes place in Whatcom County near the South Fork of the Nookshack River. This was a long time ago, in the summer of 1972. My cousin and I were spending a weekend fishing on the South Fork of the Nookshack River. The exact location was at the end of the Strand Road off of Highway 9 between Sedero-Woolley and Mount Baker Highway. We were both going into the 8th grade. Our parents dropped us off on Friday and would pick us up on Sunday. Crazy, weren't they? We set up camp fairly close to the end of the road, about 50 feet from the river. We spent Friday afternoon fishing and came back to our camp and built a fire. Finally, we went to bed. We both stuck our pocket knives in the sand next to us in case we needed them at night. I was startled awake in the middle of the night by a sound, and as I awoke sleeping in my sleeping bag, I saw the silhouette of something on the other side of a small fence and slightly above us. It was about 20 feet away. There was a full moon behind, which created a perfect silhouette image. This creature made a series of long hissing type sounds. The best description is hiss. Then it would stop for a bit and then do it again. It did this 5 or 6 times. The silhouette was from about waist up. It was broad shoulder with no neck. It had a sloping forehead and not noticeable ears that I could detect. It rocked slightly from side to side, as if it was smelling us or trying to see us laying there a bit better. It could not have gotten to us without going through this fence and under some small branches. It appeared that it was likely crouching down, maybe on one knee. I was obviously petrified. It was there for probably 3 to 5 minutes. When it left, it kind of pivoted its entire body to its right and was gone. I would estimate this to be about 3 a.m. in the morning. I heard nothing as it walked away. I laid there for the rest of the night frozen stiff from fright, to the point that my body began cramping up. I did not hear anything as it left, nor smelt anything. I did hear shortly after it left, from the direction of the river, and sounded like across the river a series of clicks of what sounded like rocks being hit together very rapidly. They were hit together 3 to 5 times very fast. I heard this a few times, first fairly close, then farther off as if it was going away from us. My cousin didn't hear a thing as he continued sleeping. We stayed there the following night without incident, although with a big fire going and a fishing line tied to each other's wrists should we need to wake each other up. In the morning I told my cousin and we looked for tracks, but didn't see anything. The field that this thing was on was hard packed and it was very hard and dry, so no indentations. I know what I saw. It was not a man nor a bear, nor someone trying to scare us making a growling sound or something. None of that. It makes the hair stand on my neck as I recount this incident, even though it has been nearly 50 years ago. A few months later, there was a report in the Bellingham Herald, where I lived at the time, about someone seeing a Bigfoot along the Mount Baker Highway, although the sighting was much closer to Bellingham. That sighting was around where the Mosquito Lake Road meets Mount Baker Highway. The newspaper article mentioned a guy and a number to call if anyone saw anything. My cousin and I called the guy, who actually took us to the Strand Road location where we showed him exactly where my sighting was. We found no evidence, and again, it was a few months later. All right, so this was a great story, but I do want to touch on the resolution number 92043. I do want to applaud Whatcom County for establishing this resolution. That is fantastic. And also the other county, Sacramania County. Congratulations to you both for recognizing these beings that they do or live out there in the wild. So that's fantastic news. I do know that Todd Standing was trying to do the same thing up here in Canada. I don't think he was successful. In any case, now to this story. I can't believe that parents would have dropped off their 13, 14-year-olds to go fishing over the weekend and then pick them back up on a Sunday. These kids did not have any weapon other than their pocket knives, and it sounded like they didn't even have a tent. They slept in sleeping bags under the starry skies, which actually sounds very beautiful. The fact that they were fishing sounds fantastic, but to me that is just luring in all the wild animals. But in any case, they made it out alive, but it was a fantastic story, so thank you for that. Wow, so that wraps up another great story. In the upcoming weeks, I have another little surprise coming your way. I'm diving in a little bit deeper to bring this story to you, so just hang in there. I don't want to say too much. I think you're going to enjoy it. In fact, I know you're going to enjoy it. But in any case, that's going to wrap it up for this week. So if you have a story that you would like to share, then please forward your stories to OntarioCyrptids@gmail.com, and your stories can be as anonymous as you would like. I would love to hear from you soon. So have a fantastic Sunday, and we'll see you all next week.